Bungie recently made a statement saying that Trials would not be returning to Destiny 2 pretty much at all. And they also made a statement that the 2015 version of Trials that a lot of people would like to come back, which is the 3v3 elimination, would not be able to fit their long-time goal going forward for Destiny. And this sparked a lot of feedback. A lot of people, you know, from all of you to other content creators and streamers who play Destiny 2 have spoken about this, and basically we're telling Bungie, you're wrong, and you should be bringing back Trials. Now, I am going to explain my my opinion of this, but I'm also going to explain why I feel like Bungie is doing this, because there's a reason, I feel like, but I knew that Trials would not be probably returning to Destiny 2, mainly on the factor of why they don't want Trials to come back. Because Trials, if you guys know, especially in the 2015 version of Trials, when Trials first came out, it started to show the individual ugly sides of the meta inside of the game. Like Thorn, for example. And it actually started to bring in the complaints of snipers not having flinch because of Trials, because people were just constantly res sniping, people were sniping in general, and, you know, it also led to shotguns being nerfed and many things being tweaked, to the point where, well, they got rid of our special, and that was awesome. Remember those days in Destiny 1? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, yeah, you missed out a terrible chain of events of nerfing because of Trials. But here's the thing. 2015 Trials, when it first came out, was not really that bad. Yes, Thorn was really good, but I was able to outplay people with my sniper because I didn't have flinch, and because I was good at sniping, then I was able to outplay all the casual players, basically. It was pretty easy because the skill gap between a casual player and hardcore player in Destiny 1 was very spread out. Like, it was very split. So you could tell who was a casual, you could tell who was a hardcore player. No matter what the loot that they had, there were still things that you could grind that would make you a better player. If you already were a good player, if you were a casual player, at least you would have a chance, kind of deal, like Thorn. And I didn't mind that meta. I really didn't. I mean, yes, I made complaints about Thorn, but I mean, compared to what it was, like, turned into in the end for Destiny 1, yeah, I would much rather have that old meta. But here's the thing. Destiny 2 is not like 2015 Destiny 1 in the sense of the meta for PvP. If they were to bring back Trials, it would, just like Destiny 1, it would show the ugly side of the meta for PvP. And let me just tell you a little secret, okay? Destiny 2 PvP meta is a giant headless chicken mess. It is so all over the place that it would really show how ugly it is if they brought back Trials, and they don't want to do that. Their goal that they're basically saying is they want people to buy Destiny, of course. They want to show off that Destiny is a power fantasy game, and they also want to ensure that like, people are excited to play every mode inside of the game. They don't want people to not touch certain modes. They want everyone to play it. And Trials was very, like, specific, you know. There was a reason for people to play competitive, and they felt there was no problems with that because it was 4v4 and it had objectives, but it was not like the 3v3 elimination. So the ugly side of the meta was not, I mean, it was there for competitive, but it wouldn't be as obvious if it was like 3v3 elimination. I mean, let me just tell you this. I do plan on making a video explaining this in further detail about my opinion of competitivity inside of Destiny 2. Destiny 2 does not aim to make the casual players be so, like, split from the hardcore players in the sense of, like the difference of who you're going against inside of the Crucible. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of the time, like, it's like, wow, you know, I'm doing really good because I got the loot that I have. And that's probably the point. Destiny is not about individual skill as much. It is there, but the biggest priority is actually the loot. Now, you may disagree with me. That's fine. You know, I have a video that'll explain in major detail down the road on this, but just to give you like the Spark Notes version of what I'm trying to say is that, like, you get a Dust Rock Blues, and now you're going to be able to destroy players with other types of shotguns, like, you know, Ikelios or anything like that, and a lot of other weapons in general. And the thing is that they want loot to be a big priority. That's why they promote exotic quests and promote like stuff to grind inside of activities like Luna's Howl, which Luna's Howl made you a better player just by having that gun alone. Destiny is trying to combat the power fantasy that other games are trying to do, like Anthem, even if like it's, you know, not a big game to you or whatever. Point is that it was promoting power fantasy, feeling powerful, and Destiny was kind of like that, but they toned it down to be more of like a fair arena shooter like Halo, where the individual was the biggest priority over the loot that you were finding most of the time. Most of the time, not all the time. Destiny 2 is not like that anymore. Destiny 2 is like almost entirely about the loot that you get. The reason why I know this is because I've played so many matches in the Crucible where it starts off as a match where everyone's using whatever on the enemy team. Then they start getting a little bit beat, like, you know, they lose a few rounds, and then they start switching to Lunas, Dust Rock, Limonarch, if they were, you know, for a bow, you know, Jotun, you know, machine gun heavies, like, you name it, all kinds of different things. But you would sit there and be like, oh, you know, that's what people did in D1 with Thorn. Yeah, but it was just Thorn. It wasn't like everything. There's so many things in Destiny 2 that you could easily switch to that make you a better player. And if they were to have 3v3 elimination, that's going to have some problems with it. Destiny 2 just cannot have trials. They just can't. If they did, it would not be able to be like the 2015 version. If Bungie wants people, if their goal is what I said, where they want people to feel the power fantasy, but they don't want to show the ugly side of the PvP end, and also want people to actually enjoy and play certain modes. Plus, Bungie is really one of those companies that don't do much to DDoSers, which is sad but true. They'll ban people for like a certain amount of months, but they don't like really go after someone right away as soon as they DDoS. So in Trials, it's all about staying in matches, or, you know, you're not going to go flawless. So the way that Trials is very difficult nowadays. But I'm not saying they can't, but they would definitely have to rehaul what the meta is. They would have to change certain things and so on, but I don't think they're going to do that. This is more lines of us trying to figure out what they should do for Destiny 3. I for one really want Trials to come back because it was a pinnacle thing inside of Destiny, and it was something of a reason to come back. But with how much frustration I'm already having inside of PvP, I don't know if I really want it back. Unless they do some changes, because again, it's gonna be a chaotic mess. I already know it, like right now, if they brought it back. But I'm not sitting here and saying that they shouldn't. They should. And I mean, they should at least get feedback to know what they should do for Destiny 3 when it comes to their pinnacle endgame activity for PvP during that time. Because, you know, there's competitive, but that's, for most people, they don't really care about that area. That's not like Trials to them. So it's understandable. But again, I want Trials to come back. I do. But Bungie would probably have to make changes, and I just want to make this clear. Think I'm wrong, think whatever, I understand people will not always agree with me. I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below, but really realize that not many people are using certain types of weapons because they're not as good as the others. And there's a lot of better weapons out there. It's almost like tier lists, almost like you're playing Smash Brothers, like, oh, which S tier character should I play? Like that's how the loot is. And originally it was only, a few weapons in Destiny 1, but now there's a lot, if you really take the time to think about it. But again, just my thoughts. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on this issue, but I'd like to know your thoughts on this. So leave in the comments down below. And thank you so much for listening. Chibi out.